Now, a United States not-for-profit group that focuses on animal cruelty and taxpayer waste has played a leading role in uncovering the ties between Anthony Fauci and the Wuhan labs. White Coat Waste first lifted the lid on how Fauci was funding experiments at the Wuhan Institute of Virology through a subgrant funneled through the EcoHealth Alliance. It's something you know all about now. When I was writing my book, we spent some time together analysing just how many experiments America had conducted in Wuhan. We went through all of the Wuhan scientific papers, comparing notes. Now, remember, Fauci has repeatedly told Congress that it was just a moderate amount of research that was being undertaken in Wuhan. He's tried to downplay this to an enormous extent. But we discovered that America funded 65 scientific projects at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. 65. That's 60 funded by the NIH. Then there were also a further 16 by USAID and some in conjunction with NIH. The Department of Health and Human Services funded 3. The Department of Defense and the Department of Energy funded 1 each. Joining me now to discuss this, the founder and president of White Coat Waste, Anthony Bellotti. Anthony, thank you for joining us tonight from the US, from Washington. Look, we've heard Fauci tell people like Rand Paul in Congress that he doesn't know what he's talking about when he says, you know, the NIH has funded dangerous experiments in Wuhan. But in fact, this isn't just the odd occasional experiment. This isn't just a moderate level of research. 65 projects. Anthony, this is far more extensive than people realize.
You said it, Sherry. Thank you again for having us on tonight. It's far more extensive than anybody realizes here in the United States. Taxpayers who are forced to pay the bill have no clue what's going on. And the scary part is, Sherry, in addition to everything you just said, Wuhan itself is not even alone. Wuhan is not alone. Right now, the NIH, Fauci's NIH, has authorized 26 other laboratories in China for payouts for animal experiments, just like what you've exposed at the Wuhan lab, the infamous gain-of-function experiments, the abject cruelty that's going on in these labs. 26 other labs in China right now are still authorized for payouts. NIH itself wasted $140 million last year alone, all around the world for animal labs. And the extent of what's going on in China, and specifically the Wuhan lab, is much greater than people realize. It is not an isolated incident. The 65 taxpayer-funded projects is very real. And taxpayers have a right to know who's paying the bills and who's cashing the checks for all this misery. You know, the Wuhan lab is an animal lab, right? That's what they're doing. That's what the electroshocking of animals, the water deprivation, the fear experiments, the horrible things that's going on, in addition to gain of function and extremely dangerous pandemic causing animal testing over there. It's a real problem, Sherry. There's zero transparency, zero accountability, and zero regard for animal welfare.
Absolutely. And what's even worse is that the NIH and Fauci was conducting these experiments in China at the same time that gain-of-function research was banned in the United States. This appears to be deliberately thwarting the rules and the law, getting around it by deciding to conduct this dangerous research that the Obama administration was so concerned could spark a pandemic, and conducting it in China. Now, Anthony, you've now discovered that Fauci's agency was also conducting dangerous experiments on dogs, and this is through FOI requests that you managed to uncover this information. What have they been doing with dogs?
It's very sad, Sherry. It's a very, very sad new example we've just uncovered. What you are looking at right now is a laboratory in Tunisia, an experiment on beagle dogs, sweet little beagle dogs, taxpayer-funded torture in Tunisia. That was a payout from Fauci's NIH division, its own NIH department, was subcontracted through a university in Ohio to Africa to do horrible experiments, what you were looking at right now. Another example of secretive subcontracting from the NIH for animal abuse. What you are looking at here are drugged beagles with their heads in mesh cages filled with hundreds of infected sandflies. They're gnawing at those beagles' ears, those poor drugged beagles, targeting their sensitive ears, big floppy hound ears. Sherry, they're being eaten alive.
It's disgusting.
That's what's going on in that picture.
Just shocking. And Anthony, you then also found that they were then killed instead of being rehabilitated. Should there be an investigation into the NIH, why they've been funding these type of experiments, and specifically into Anthony Fauci, and whether he has misled Congress, given the fact that we have revealed tonight that the scale of the research he was funding, 65 projects?
Absolutely. And we're working on that with White Coat Waste Project right now. We're working to find, expose, and defund that by rallying members of Congress in the House of Representatives to hound Fauci about his beagle experiments and to audit and defund these projects in China. Representative Scott Perry is leading a delegation right now on hounding Fauci about the beagle experiments. We've also rallied another powerful delegation to go after what we call that NIH foreign aid that's going into China, so we can really get to the bottom of just how much we're spending. Taxpayers have a right to know who's paying the bills and who's cashing the checks, and right now we're just not getting that.
Anthony, what seems so extraordinary, sitting here from Australia, this is potentially, you're looking at a situation where, not only cruelty to dogs, but you're looking at a situation where the funding of research in Wuhan may have contributed to this global pandemic if it is proven that SARS-CoV-2 leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Why are the Democrats protecting Anthony Fauci instead of investigating him and the activities of his agency?
Yeah, unfortunately, last year, this issue, Sherry, here in the United States got wrongly politicized. It got wrongly polarized along partisan lines because we had a major presidential election in 2020. Our polling has shown that grassroots Democrats across the country, liberals, progressives, animal lovers, liberty lovers, Republicans, conservatives, are pretty across the board in favor of investigating the lab leak hypothesis, investigating the payouts to Wuhan. That's what Democrats across the country actually want. On Capitol Hill, we've had slow, but there has been steady momentum of some bipartisan support for exactly that, to investigate. Not enough. Progress is slow. We need more work to be done there. And because there's, unfortunately, everything last year in this country got hyper-partisan, hyper-polarized. It was absolutely unnecessary, and there's nothing partisan about this.
No, yes, it's absolutely, completely agree. It's so disappointing. Anthony Bellotti, thank you very much for all of the hard work you've done that's played such a crucial role in exposing the NIH's funding of the Wuhan lab. Thank you very much for joining me.
Congrats on the successful book launch.
Thank you so much. Coming out in just a few weeks' time. Thank you very much, Anthony.